Hello, everybody, and welcome to the opening day edition of Back to Back. We're finally here. Opening day week is finally here. Baseball is back, better than ever. I'm Noah Cowan, Alex Kent. Alex, how psyched are you that opening day is finally here?
I mean, it's amazing, and it's a full 162-game season, so we're finally getting baseball, and obviously with last year it was tough, but feels like April's going to be great in a few days.
It's the most exciting day of the year, I feel like. I mean,
for baseball
can't
fans
get
like
better
us,
than this.
This is just like Christmas or, well, Passover, Hanukkah, whatever holiday you celebrate. So
Before we get into the top of the first, I would just like to give a proper birthday shout-out to our co-host, Alex Kent. I forgot to mention this last week, 22nd birthday.
yeah, I guess you can say I've rounded the bases 22 times if we're going to go with the baseball analogy there, but fun weekend with all you guys and just with my brother as well, so really enjoyed that. Thank you guys for making it great.
Of course, anytime. Glad to celebrate. So let's get right into it with the top of the first. Chicago White Sox outfielder Eloy Jimenez will be on the shelf for 5 to 6 months after rupturing his left pectoral tendon. So, Alex, how much of a blow is this for the South Side of Chicago?
This is huge because, I mean, they already have reigning American League Most Valuable Player, Jose Abreu, guys like Tim Anderson, Lucas Giolito. But Eloy Jimenez was the glue to this team in a way. He's been on the team for 2 or 3 years now. In 2019, he had 31 home runs. And that ain't too shabby. That's someone you want to have on the field every single day. And last year, he hit 14 home runs with a 296 average. So he was a consistent threat on this team in the middle of the order. And he was a good fielder as well when he was out in the outfield. So it's a big blow, but they'll get past it. They're a really good team. So
Now, I don't know if you saw any of his bombs in 2019. He hit bombs in 2019 in his first rookie season. I would be a bit worried, honestly, because the White Sox, they have the highest of expectations out of any team right now in the American League. I would say, they got Tony La Russa as their new manager. They got Andrew Vaughn coming up as their prospect. He might be able to fill in the outfield possibly. That might work out. But honestly, a big blow. He was one of the biggest impact bats, I would say, behind Jose Abreu. But you just have to look to players, like Jose Abreu, Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Yohan Moncada. They have to fill in his steps and provide that power, which they lost.
that's the thing. He was sort of the cushion for them, but with him gone, other guys are going to have to fill in what he brought to the table. So, I mean, they have a lot of great bats, as I said. Lucas Giolito was actually voted by a lot of MLB writers as who they think is going to win Cy Young, and we'll get into that later as well. But with Eloy Jimenez, just like with a lot of other teams like the Yankees that are going through injury troubles, the White Sox are a very good team, but they're going to have to learn how to adjust without him. So
He also hit a silver slugger last year, too. So that's definitely something that they're going to miss out on for sure.
easily, I mean, when you hit 296 with power, you don't want to lose that.
Oh, absolutely not. And getting into the next story, Carlos Correa. Shortstop Carlos Correa turned down a $120 million extension from the Houston Astros. So, Alex, will Houston let him walk next season?
I mean, will they let him? They're not going to try and let him, but I think he might want to go to start fresh somewhere other than Houston. I mean, with the whole scandal, he might want to prove that I can go elsewhere and be just as good, just like George Springer as well with Toronto, just leaving there. So I think that money talks, just like the AC/DC song, but at the same time, if he wants to start somewhere else, he will.
Absolutely. And, I mean, the fact that he thinks that 5 years, $120 million is lowballing, I mean, that's a great offer, I feel like. I mean, Xander Bogaerts got the same amount of money, and he's a more consistent hitter than Correa's ever been. I mean, Xander hits 20 home runs, 90 RBIs, 290 every season. Correa, for his career, he's only hit like 270 at most. And, he had one great season, 2017, the World Series championship year, obviously. However, since then, he averages 14 homers, 50 RBIs a year. He's just an average shortstop. I really hate to say it. However,
that's
compared
fine.
to like Trevor Story and Lindor, Tatis, Seager, Turner, I mean, it's possible that Francisco Lindor might get that $325 million extension. I mean, he's well deserving of that money. Correa, he probably wants that amount of money, and I really don't think that's necessary.
Well, this is the year for him. He has one more year, as you said, and it's a full season, and they lost guys like Springer. I mean, Altuve's still there, but he had a really down year, so they're going to rely on Correa to be like the heart of the team. And if he's not great this year, then, I mean, denying that offer is, in my opinion, a little dumb. But we'll see. When the Astros have a lot to deal with this year, and Correa needs to be the guy that he was in 2017.
At the end of the day, as you say it best, I feel like, I mean, if he's trying to get that much money, you're talking about someone who's got to hit 40 homers, 120 RBIs, and bat 330 for all we know.
And another thing, too, with denying that money, just like we saw in football with Dak Prescott, God forbid he gets hurt, then, I mean, that's something that we don't want to happen. But if it does, that money's just going down the drain. So.
We will have to see what happens. And then finally going on to the New York Yankees. They announced recently that first baseman Luke Voit has landed on the injured list with a partial tear in his meniscus and will be sidelined for at least a month. So, Alex, concern, panic, or doom in the Bronx?
Well, I would say with what we were saying a few weeks ago with Miguel Andujar, guys like Judge and Stanton always being hurt, Voit was also another guy who only played 118 games in 2019 out of a 162-game season. Last year, he was out a few games. But in his 3 years with the Yankees, he's hit 57 home runs. And I remember when Greg Bird was the face of the Yankees at first base, and he had that one big home run.
Yeah.
Wasn't it off Andrew Miller, too?
It wasn't off Andrew Miller.
In the playoffs. Yeah. But the thing is, Voit took over, just like DJ LeMahieu at second, and showed that we're new faces. We can run this team just as well as the Judge and Stanton guys when they're on the field. But Voit needs to be there. Him being hurt, I wouldn't say it's doom, but if he's out a long time, it is going to affect them. Just to what degree? That's really what it is.
First in homers last year in the shortened season, 6th in slugging percentage and total bases, 4th in RBIs. There's got to be panic. I mean, honestly, I would say he was the MVP of that team last season.
Him and LeMahieu, that's the two.
Oh, definitely, yeah. They drove that team to the playoffs. And, no one likes to see a tough competitor like Voit get hurt. I mean, he was a competitor. He went out every day.
He's tough as nails.
He was practically a baller for all we know. And, you really have to hope that Mike Ford and Jay Bruce really pull this off and they can provide that power stroke that Voit brought to the team.
Well, that's the thing. You say Jay Bruce, but he's older. Voit is the young blood on the team, and you hate when the young guys get hurt just because they have a lot of potential, and when that potential is not being used, it's just really unfortunate. So once again, as we say most weeks, best wishes to Luke Voit. Hopefully he returns to the field very soon. So
Luke Voit, best of luck on the recovery. We would like to see you back soon. Miss you.
I feel like we do this every week, but it is a necessity in baseball. And same to Eloy Jimenez as well. So
absolutely. So coming up, we'll give you our list of the top reasons to look forward to opening day. You will not want to miss this. Stay tuned.
This job looks perfect. It says you need a high school diploma. You got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that.
Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org. They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit. I get it. I can do better. Just please, don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back, everyone. Because it is opening week in baseball, tonight we'll give you our top 10 list of reasons to look forward to opening day. So let's start this off with number 10. We've got cutting class. I mean, honestly, it's not something I encourage. Do not do this, kids. However, it's opening day. It's a national holiday. I mean, I feel like you've just got to do it.
You got to act like Ferris Bueller. Just take the day off and enjoy some baseball. That's all you got to do. We're not encouraging that, but it is something for opening day that we do. So it's the
it
one
is
day.
acceptable. It
It's
should
the
be a
one day.
holiday.
So number 9, we got tailgating, and be safe if you're going to do that and of age, but
Hot dogs, burgers, pulled pork, anything. You just go all out.
hang out with friends, just eat
Drink
your
responsibly, too. Absolutely.
favorite, if you're of age, as I said before, and just enjoy the day, enjoy your favorite team.
Absolutely.
So
Let's
number
go on to number 8. This one is a tough one. We've got Trout versus Robert, a premier matchup, best hitter in the game, versus someone who's compared to Mike Trout himself.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Gotta love when the young star faces, the phenom faces against the older legend. I mean, Trout's...
You've got to stay tuned for that, for sure.
That's great. And then number
7, we've got,
I'm just going to go like that. No one saw a thing.
new off-season acquisitions. Arenado in St. Louis. We've got Lindor for the Mets. Bauer on the Dodgers. I mean, there's so many new faces in other places, Alex.
I mean, as you said, my Mets sweatshirt on. Lindor, opening day against the Nationals. I just can't wait. So, number 6, we got Aces
face
facing
off.
And I want to start off with this one. Scherzer versus DeGrom opening day.
Cannot beat that match.
That alone is worth the price of admission, whatever channel it's on, worth it fully.
And we also have Cole versus Hyun-Jin Ryu, and we also have Noah versus Max Fried. That's a great matchup right there. Will not want to miss that.
Well, it's the
at all.
number 1, the Aces facing off, as number 6
Aces
said.
face off. And number 5, 162 game season. I mean, 50 games. I mean, that was nice and all, but 162, that's baseball right there. You want as many games as possible.
Well, this is a Kent joke. 162 is the way to do. That's what needs to
I have
happen.
not heard that one before.
Just thought of it on the spot.
Absolutely. And number 4, we've got just straight up dingers.
Who doesn't love home runs?
No one. I mean, the Yankees and Twins both hit 300 each in 2019. I mean, we're talking 162, and these hitters coming back to play. I mean, you just can't go wrong with dingers.
We want defense and dingers. Those two things together.
Number 3, Trey Mancini. I mean, this man beat colon cancer. He's come back to the field. You can argue and say he's a top 10 outfielder in baseball. 35 homers, 90 RBIs. Great story. Love to see him back.
It's a
Congrats,
feel-good
Trey.
story. He's on my fantasy team. And I remember when the Orioles were sort of bad, he was the one shining star. So I'm glad he's back. Beating cancer is always a great story, just like Carlos Carrasco on the Mets.
True face of the Orioles.
So stay
I'd say.
healthy and play great. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely. And number 2, we've got Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, honestly, the new face of baseball. He's just exciting to watch. I mean, he's just perfect. He's the ideal baseball player that you want to idolize today.
Well, another thing, too, on the video game MLB The Show 2021, he was announced on the cover. So, I mean, it's safe to say with the season he was given and how he played last year, he might be the new Mike Trout in terms of how the MLB advertises their league. So, best wishes to him. His dad was also on the Mets, the only player to hit 2 grand slams in the same inning.
Still find that crazy.
That family knows how to hit.
It's bat flipping season. And
So,
number 1,
last but
we've
not
got
least-
New York, New York. I mean, we have 2 great New York teams going on right now. You got Lindor on the Mets. You got Garrett Cole on the Yankees. I mean, these are 2 perfect teams we've got right here. And it's going to be a great season for both of them for sure.
No, I mean, we're both New York sports fans, whether it's football, basketball, baseball. This is what we're talking about. This is the first time I can actually say, since 2006 or 7 or 8, that the Mets might be one of the best teams in the league. So the Yankees are always there. They have 27 World Series rings. But New York, New York, as Frank Sinatra sang, this is the year, 2021.
It's a great time to be a New York sports fan for sure. And we're also going to paste the excuse letter. If you're trying to cut class, we will put this in. So pause your TV or pause the YouTube video and just show this to your teacher or boss or anyone. And it should work out fine.
This is your get out of jail free card from us. This is our gift to you.
And that was our top 10 reasons to look forward to opening day. Coming up, our season predictions and postseason brackets, which we'll probably get wrong. Stay tuned. You're watching Back to Back on WTOP.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof. And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back. Hey, Alex, you ready for season predictions?
I always am.
It's time right now for 2021 season predictions. Let's roll it. So, going on to hot takes. What is your biggest hot take of this year?
Oh, this one, when I wrote it earlier, I was just like, I have to say it. I'm not sure if it's going to be true, but I'm still going to be gutsy and say it. Joey Gallo will hit at least 270 for his average with 45-plus home runs.
I'm shocked.
And the reason why that's shocking, and I understand why you are, his career average so far in his 5 or 6 year career is 208. So that is awful. And his best average in a season was 2019 with a 253 average. And that's not even that great, honestly. The home runs are there. He hit 41 home runs in 2017 and 40 in 2018. So 45 home runs for him is not really that hard to believe. It's just the average. I mean, he strikes out or it's a home run. But for me, 2021, who knows? Joey Gallo might become Tony Gwynn for all we know.
I would love to see him hit over 300. I mean, that's probably impossible in my eyes, but
no,
that would be a great story for baseball, to say the least.
I would love to see it, but who knows?
So you were talking about Pete Alonso recently. He, Vlad Guerrero Jr. was the runner-up in that home run derby, and he was going off. So I feel like, after seeing that performance, he might go off and hit 50 home runs for all we know. I mean, it's Vlad Guerrero Jr. We've seen him in batting practice. We saw him in that home run derby. He hit bombs. He hit bombs that were over 470 feet for that. And, he's just due for a power surge, I feel like. I mean, I feel like Toronto needs his bat now more than ever if they want to get to the postseason.
And once again, mentioning Springer again, someone else to take some of the leverage off. And their order just got stacked over the offseason. They got Marcus Semien as well, who's really, really solid. So I think Vlad Guerrero Jr. hitting 50 home runs, that is very possible.
I should mention this also. 2 years back, I did bring this up to you that he would hit more home runs than his dad. I'm sticking by that prediction.
Yeah, our first episode, one of our episodes that year was his debut. So I remember that.
Keeping that prediction. I'm standing with it because he's going to do it.
That one's easier than Gallo hitting for 270.
You will thank me later, folks. So, Alex, who do you have for your Cy Young Award winner?
I have for the National League, Jacob deGrom. As a Met fan, privileged to see him every fifth game. And I think no one's better than him. He already has 2 under his belt, so it's hard not to say him. And then for the American League, I have Shane Bieber, who last year was 8-1 with a 1.63 ERA. Full season with Carrasco gone, he is the ace of this rotation. Hard also not to say him.
He had some very nasty stuff, to say the least. Tyler Glasnow of the Tampa Bay Rays, he has a lot to prove. He might be their true number one ace now with Blake Snell gone. 14.3 Ks per 9 in 2020. That's very good. I mean, seeing that in a full season, I mean, that's going to be really good, I feel like. And then speaking of Blake Snell, I have him as my NL pick. He's going to look back at that World Series Game 6. He has a lot to prove. He's going to play just like he did in 2018, 21-5, 1.89 ERA, 200 Ks, and he's got the run support for sure.
Yeah, those 2 selections, amazing as well.
And then who do you have for your MVP?
I have for the National League, Ronald Acuna, center fielder for the Braves, anywhere in the outfield really, 5-tool player, and he knows how to play the game. I know that's like a very blanket thing to say, but when he's out there, you know that he's very, very knowledgeable and capable of hitting 40 home runs and
stealing. Top 5 player.
Easily. And for the American League, I have Mike Trout, who is the face of the game. I mean, he's been the best player in the league for many, many years. And I feel like with Ohtani and Rendon in the order around him, he's going to have time to shine and be who we know he is.
Mike Trout is Mike Trout. He's the modern-day Mickey Mantle. That's
Easily.
all we have to say. And then speaking of 5-tool players, Trey Turner of the Washington Nationals, he's got a lot to prove. You know, he's only played more than 130 games once in his 6-year career. He can bat 28. He can hit 20 home runs, 85 RBIs, 50 stolen bases. That's like Mike Trout's rookie season right there. And he was second place in the Rookie of the Year voting, MVP voting. And then I have Anthony Rendon of the Angels, the purest power hitter in baseball. I feel, or not power hitter, average hitter in baseball, hitting for average hitter. And then he's going to hit 335, 110. I mean, he might be better than Mike Trout. That's my hot take.
Well, he's more reliable. He also doesn't get hurt to the same level as Trout, but that's a great pick as well. Rendon is someone on the Nationals would always kill the Mets, so I'm used to that.
Ready for your postseason bracket?
I'm very ready for it. I mean, I'm always good with brackets. So for the American League, for the first round, I'm going to have the Oakland A's beating the Houston Astros. And then after that, the Astros will face the Yankees and win 3-2. Then I'm going to have the Angels against the Minnesota Twins, 3-1. The Angels are going to then face the Oakland A's to see who goes to the World Series. Ooh. And I'm going to have the Angels winning 4-1. I'm going to have Oakland going further than the first round this year, but they're still going to find a way to choke.
Big ALS duo right there.
Then, so they're in the World Series for the American League, the Angels. Then in the National League, first round, Milwaukee Brewers versus the Braves. Going to have the Braves walking away with the victory that time. Then the Dodgers versus the Braves after the Braves win that. The Dodgers are going to beat the Braves, so they're going to move on. Then the Mets are going to beat the Cardinals. The Mets are then going to beat the Dodgers to make it to the World Series, and then the Mets will win their third World Series, 4-2. The last time they were there was 2015, and they unfortunately, for me, lost to the Royals. So need some time to rebound with Lindor as the face. They have all the pieces to get there and win. So.
Oh, easily, and first title since '86. I mean, that'd be great if they did it in 2021. But unfortunately, I have the Mets losing to the Padres in the wild card round.
That's fine.
Sorry, it's all right. and the Padres beating the Dodgers in the NLDS. I have the Braves beating the Cardinals in the NLDS too. So we got Braves and Padres in the NLCS. That's going to be a great matchup. I have the Braves winning in 7. And then for the American League, Blue Jays versus Rays, I got the Blue Jays beating the Rays, shockingly. I know. And then I got the Blue Jays beating the Yankees. Sorry, Yankees fans. And then I got the White Sox beating the Angels. Then for the ALCS, Chicago versus Toronto. That's a pretty good matchup right there. Not a matchup anyone would expect. And then I have the White Sox beating the Blue Jays. Then we got the Braves versus the White Sox in the World Series. I got the Braves winning the World Series for the first time since 1995.
So 2 NL East teams, me with the Mets, you with the Braves. But that just shows how great of a division we're in. So
honestly, the NL East might be the best division in baseball for all we know.
Really, it is.
And that wraps up our 2021 season predictions. Coming up, we'll take you around the bases on Back to Back. Stay tuned.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
If you think trains will stop if they see a car on the tracks, you're right. They will. About a mile after they hit you. Stop. Trains can't.
Welcome to Back-to-Backs Around the Bases, where me and Noah will answer rapid-fire questions about the Major League Baseball and baseball as a whole. So, you ready, Noah?
Yes.
That's what I was waiting for. A lot tamer than a hello, everybody.
Hello! Just kidding.
So, what team that missed the playoffs last season will be a surprise team this year?
Kansas City Royals of the AL Central. The only question mark is their rotation, but you got 2019 home run leader Jorge Soler in there. You got hit for average catcher Salvador Perez. They acquired Andrew Benintendi during the offseason. They can really make a splash. And then you got Mondesi, too, who's a speedster. They might go off.
Adalberto Mondesi's really, really good.
Big
fast
sweeper
guy.
in the AL Central.
So I'm actually going to say a team that I mentioned earlier, the Angels, just because
it's a great pick.
They're Los Angeles. We've already gone over Rendon, Ohtani, and Trout. But the thing is, they missed the playoffs. They were fourth in their division. And I feel like they'll surprise everyone because they got a lot of slander that the Dodgers are better from the same city. So I feel like this year they'll surprise everyone and shock the world.
Shohei Ohtani might be a Cy Young candidate. Hot take.
And he hits 25 home runs a year when he's hitting, so who knows. So once again, opening day is tomorrow. It's Thursday this week. So what game will you be tuned into on opening day?
Braves and Phillies, you got to keep it simple. Max Fried versus Aaron Nola. That is an exciting matchup to watch. You got Cy Young caliber candidates right there. And both teams have a lot to prove this season.
That's a fair thing. I mean, also rivals. For me, I got to go with Mets Nationals just because Met fan, always love opening day. And once again, as a baseball fan, it's Scherzer versus DeGrom, two of the best aces in the league.
Definitely
both have won many Cy Youngs over the last 6 or 7 years. So it's one of those things, seeing Lindor's face in the Mets hat is something I've always wanted to see as well. So another thing, too, this is sort of relating to another star. We were discussing Correa earlier. So Anthony Rizzo and the Cubs were in talks to negotiate a contract extension over this offseason. And however, these talks have come to a halt. As Rizzo has stated, they've had enough time to negotiate. So do you think that'll be on the Cubs next year?
Probably not. I mean, I believe that it was insulting that they only offered 5 years, $70 million for someone who averages $3,100 per season. So I really wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to his native state of Florida and plays for either the Rays or the Marlins. I mean, that might be a stretch, but however, he's been in Florida a lot this offseason.
That's a fair point. I mean, with him, yes, he's one of the best first basemen in the league, but he's had a few down years. Chris Bryant, too, is also most likely going to leave the Cubs eventually. So I feel like he might get an extension. It's just, this is his career year, and I'm not sure. It's really in the air at the moment.
2016 Cubs are falling apart.
They really are, biased, too. So another opening day question. What will be the biggest moment of opening day, whether it's something fun or just a player, anything you want?
Yes. Do you remember a couple years back, Madison Bumgarner hit 2 home runs? I have him hitting another dinger tomorrow. Not tomorrow.
Well,
Thursday off of Yu Darvish.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the DH, that sucks at not being in the NL, but Bumgarner's going to, he's ecstatic that he can hit once again. He's one short of 20 home runs, so he's going to want to just kill it tomorrow.
And that's a great one. Bumgarner, one of the best hitters for someone who's supposed to just bunt half the time. But for me, I got to go with the first reaction of fans when they finally see the Houston Astros in person again. It's the A's versus Astros. The A's are the home team. So I think that there'll be a lot of booing.
A lot of trash cans.
Things that I won't repeat on television just because they're going to be very nasty.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, as you said, trash can banging because that was their signal making and all that. We'll see, but just last year, in a way, the Astros lucked out that there were no fans. It was for a bad reason, but now they're going to feel the heat, literally.
Absolutely.
So, finally, who had the better fantasy draft, myself or you, for our fantasy baseball
As we have
leagues?
our draft board up here, I mean, just looking at who I got, Freddie Freeman, DJ LeMahieu, Nolan Arenado, that's a big, those are great selections right there. And then you can't sleep on Mike Soroka, too. But also, you got Trey Mancini, like you said. You got Jared Kelenic. I mean,
Andres Jimenez, too.
It's me to sum it up.
I would give it to you as well. You got a lot of steals. The biggest thing with my team was Jose Abreu, sort of in the 4th round, or I think it was mid-3rd round, actually, as it's on the screen right now.
I will admit I was eyeing Shohei Ohtani. So
yeah, I always get him because of the risk.
That's
but
unfortunate.
I have to give it to you. Your team is really stacked. I was going with more of the risky rookies with like Andres Jimenez. So we'll see what happens. The season starts on Thursday, so that's the first game of 162 for many of these teams.
And I'll be playing you in 3 weeks from now.
Got to look forward to that, and we'll let the audience know what happens with our game as well in a few weeks. He might.
And that just wraps up Around the Bases from all of us here back to back. I'm Noah Cowan, Alex Kent. Happy opening day, everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care.